Okay.
There we go.
So I run growth for Onaroll. For those who don't know, Onaroll is an employee incentive and rewards app. It's a lot of fun, and I'll tell you why in a moment. But over the course of the last 3 years since we've been on the block, we've fortunately exploded across most of the top QSR brands, a lot of logos you could see here on the screen. When you think about Onaroll, really think about Onaroll in terms of boosting profit in a couple different ways, and we'll walk through what that looks like. But typically it comes down to either improving operational KPIs, which therein, improve profits, or, you reinvest into your employees in one way or another, similar to what Bruce was alluding to, and they retain longer and you decreased all of those recruiting and churn costs. That is really the intent and the ROI that is associated with Onaroll. But to kind of dive right in so you understand the actual product a little bit more, this is it zoomed out. So it really starts with the employer. The employer sets goals. These goals can be time and attendance related. They could be sales related. They could be really anything as long as an employer tracks it internally. So you'd imagine a McDonald's, for example, which is one of the more popular customers that we service, franchisee or franchisor, they want to improve their speed of service, their drive-through speed time, right? They want to sell more high margin items, call it Big Macs, which I'm sure is going to make a lot of people hungry after I said that. So they kind of just set that on the app. And then from there, the shift workers, front of house, back of house, team leads, everybody uses the app and they now have visibility into all of these KPIs and goals. And the whole reason why all these employees care about these goals is because every single time that they accomplish a goal, let's say it's an individual sales goal or it's a store-wide, drive-through speed, they receive points. And the whole benefit of these points is they're redeemable for very fun and real perks, which I'll show you more of these in a moment. But by doing so, you've kind of created this fun game that sits behind the scenes, operates 24/7. And by doing so, you get more engagement of your employees. They're focused on the business KPIs. And in turn, you start to see everything go up and to the right. When you double click on the up and to the right and you wonder what that means exactly, I removed a ton of ROI slides, but this is one that kind of condenses a lot of that story. You can really see that once you start to incentivize the shift workers, right? It's not really surprising. This is nothing new, but this is like a new concept of incentivizing them in the QSR space. They start to focus on those metrics, and those metrics go in the right direction because they become obsessed with earning points. So you can kind of see a whole wide range of different metrics on here. So to kind of walk you through what this app looks like, and I keep referring to it as an app, but let me just stop all of our minds right there. There is no barrier to entry. Nobody has to download any app. We know that people forget their passwords, their IDs, etc. This is all web-based. So it's through a mobile number. It's a progressive web app. So people just view this on their actual Safari, Chrome, etc. But it starts with SMS. So this is the easiest, lightest lift way to engage employees. And we constantly are letting them know when, hey, you showed up to work on time. Great job. That's 50 points. Hey, you worked a weekend shift. Great job. That's 70 points. You were part of a speed of service goal that decreased by 20%. Amazing job. 100 points, and so on. So we keep them super engaged, and we're reiterating what obviously the operator wants them to focus on, which is really key here. This is where it gets more fun. This is the core of the product. Again, completely web-based still. And this shows you a donut that gets filled up as these employees accomplish the goals that are set out for them. So here, again, you can see something that pretty much overlaps with any business type, whether it's somebody who owns a car wash business and wants all their employees to show up to make sure that the cars are getting washed on time, or you're talking about a Burger King operator, arrive on time, right? We pull this information from shift schedulers, from HR systems, point of sale systems, cloud systems. I mean, you name it. As long as it's measurable and tracked internally, our engineering team finds a way to pull that data automatically. So it's not really a heavy lift in any way at all. From here, once the employees accomplish these goals, right, they obviously have this excitement, this competition. You can then see all the different ways that people can earn points in addition to the KPIs and those goals. So team leads sometimes want to give points to employees for stuff that you really can't track, right? Good customer service. You cleaned up really well today, and so on. You can use your imagination there. So they can send points at their own discretion whenever they want to. And in addition, thinking about this constant theme of celebrating employees with points, because again, the goal here is to keep them happy, engaged, and retained, right? We celebrate birthdays and milestones as well. A lot of operators are doing this already, but it's obviously very time intensive and it's not scalable when you think about a large organization. So we pretty much put this on autopilot. So whenever it's somebody's work anniversary, it's their birthday, they automatically receive 500 points that day, for example. So they feel the love and the recognition. And of course, they can go ahead and get something fun, sponsored, of course, by their boss. Once people have all of these points, you can see that this is like their scoreboard, right? They can see their performance, how they did yesterday, today. They have all these points in their bank, which as you're starting to see Onaroll come to light more and more, draw comparisons to credit cards, right? My Chase or my Amex points, you basically get a lot of points for different ways with credit card points, but you can then redeem those points for lots of different things. This is the exact same thing. Once these points add up, these employees get to redeem them for lots of fun perks and rewards. They could redeem it daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly. It's up to them. Something that pretty much every operator that uses Onaroll is obsessed with is the trivia section. So everybody understands the importance of constant reinforcement, training, development, and so on. So we pretty much ingest tons of questions. We ask them as daily trivia to the employees. And since, again, they become obsessed with earning points, if they get those questions correct, they get points. And so by doing so, obviously you're increasing engagement, you're making work more fun, but the theme here, you're rewarding good behavior, and therefore it is conforming to the new norm. When you think about all these perks I keep talking about, fortunately, we have something for everybody on here. There's over 500 perks on our marketplace, whether it's streaming services, electronics, beauty, food, etc. And the process could not be simpler for an employee. They accomplish goals, they automatically get points, they redeem those points on here, and then from here, they get a QR code sent right to them, a promo code, and that can be redeemed online or in stores. And that's it. It's that simple. In addition to all the points that employees can earn, which is the main use case of Onaroll, they also get jackpot tickets, which is intended to increase engagement, increase longevity, and just continue on with the fun, right? So every single week that they work a shift, they get jackpot tickets. We do a big sweepstakes at the end of every month. And we'll give away prizes like $1,000, $10,000, etc. And the whole premise of this, the longer you're employed with your employer, the more tickets you get. So an easy way to break this down, somebody who is in their 50th month working at a Wendy's gets 50 jackpot tickets every week that they work a shift. So they're getting a lot more entries into the sweepstakes than somebody who only works 2 months for that company, who's only getting 2 tickets. And that is pretty much Onaroll at a very high level. You can tell it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of engagement, but at the end of the day, we exist to boost performance metrics. And by doing so, we have fortunately just seen a lot of fun growth all across the country. We're currently only in the US, but ranging from franchisee to franchisor, ranging from 1 unit to, hundreds and hundreds of units.
Very cool. Thanks, Lee. I appreciate that. So a couple questions. So the rewards that people can set. So I'm a franchisee and I have a QSR concept. Can I set different rewards for different shifts or different employees or different types of employees?
Totally. Yeah. We have role-based incentives and goals that you can create. Sometimes on the reward front, there are customers of ours. You could imagine they have competitors that show up on the rewards that they don't want their employees to redeem for. So we can customize the rewards for pretty much anybody.
Okay. And what happens if I have multiple locations? Because like one location might be, suffering in cleanliness and another one might be suffering in sales, for example.
Yeah, totally. You can make sure that it is suited to the needs of the business by location, by region, etc.
Very cool. And I was noticing on your chart there that you were showing it was showing, sales and then retention and things like that. With retention, like it can dive in a little bit more on that, on the retention side.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy you asked. That's one of those slides I removed for the sake of time sanity here, but we basically did a study with a lot of our customers, and we looked at how many employees were churning prior to using Onaroll and then after using Onaroll. Now, of course, like I don't want to have, blind eyes to the fact that we can't 100% say that Onaroll is a reason why this is about to improve, but we do know that it was the only major change that they implemented. So we'd like to think we were a huge cause. Anyways, the data suggested that an average organization that had about 100 employees, they started to see their churn improve by 34%. So basically every 100 employees, that is 5 less people quitting or leaving the business every single month as a result of implementing something like Onaroll. And when you actually think about it in terms of numbers, I know there's a lot of data out there to suggest like what the cost per churn in the QSR space is, in the fast casual space, right? It ranges from $2,000 per employee to upwards of $6,000, depending if you look at just QSR or all of hospitality. But if you do the numbers for either one, you're talking about major cost savings and improvements to the bottom line. So yeah, we love to re-engage employees in a way that keeps them at the business.
So because I'm very blunt and straightforward and I'm all about numbers. So you just said that if someone has 100 employees and a 34% churn rate, right? Or that you're saving, you're saving them 34% of their churn. So that means you said that you're saving 5 people from leaving their organization. And if it costs, you said $2,000 per employee, that's $10,000 a month you're saving that business, or $120,000 a year that is going back into their business, right?
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, to just correct like the beginning part of that, 15% is the average monthly turnover that we saw across this study of customers. So, you can imagine annual turnover is through the roof. We brought that 15% down to 10%.
Wow.
So that delta in that percent change obviously is represented by the 34% improvement, but that's also representing 5 full people not leaving a business for every 100 employees that they have. But yeah, that is well over $10,000 in savings every single month.
That's insane. Like I know a lot of multi-unit franchisees that they have 10 locations, like that's $1.2 million saved in their business. And I'm sure when you're talking about Onaroll, like they understand the concept and like, okay, well, this is cool. I don't know if people are going to adopt it, but I'm sure if they heard those numbers of the amount of money that they're spending going out of their business, that you can now save them, $120,000 per location, approximately, give or take. That's money that's in their business. They're not spending that cash. So your operational expenditure is going down by that much. Like that's huge.
Yes, I'm glad that you see it so clearly. I think sometimes retention and the costs and profit associated with it is, for better or for worse, a little abstract to many people. But some people understand the power of what that does, right? And obviously the challenges are the greatest they've ever been. But so it's either that story that we love to talk about, or it's the other sincere stories about improving some of the, the sales items. We have a Little Caesars customer who wanted to sell a lot more crazy bread because their margins are like 90%. They sold 3x the amount of crazy bread the moment they started incentivizing all of their employees to sell more crazy bread through Onaroll. True story.
3x. That's crazy.
3x. Yeah.
That's insane. That's insane. Yeah. And I'm sure the goals are like easily like you have speed of service, you have, speed of service on the drive-through, speed of service in the store, you have, revenue goals, you have scheduling goals, waste management, like whatever that is. Like I think there's no end in sight to what somebody could do on it. Like that's crazy. And I love what you guys do. And I now, if there's a marriage that could be made with, Bruce, and have that joint customer, imagine the savings of the money that they're spending in other areas, and then that you can keep that employee even more. So that